a lot of the guys that haven't raced an IndyCar, they wouldn't know a tricky car if it hit them in the face.
Marcus, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm so excited to be here at the race today and be a part of this with REMAX and yourselves. Looking back, where was a moment in your career that things really clicked, where you felt you belonged at this level of racing?
I mean, I've always believed that, probably at the age of 6, maybe.
Cool.
Yeah,
Love it.
you know, I always wanted to make this a career, even like as I started as a child, like I was quite sure that I was going to make a career out of this. It's been my passion forever, as long as I can remember. So when you start to win, like that winning feeling is very addictive. And I mean, by the time I was 11, I think me and my team, we won 5 national titles in New Zealand, which was that's like our Super Bowl, you know.
Yeah.
So we were well accustomed to winning, and that's when I moved over to Europe to pursue this career.
You come from Formula One and other types of racing. What was the biggest change that you had to make to get into IndyCar, to adjust to different style of cars, different style of racing?
For sure, this car is very tough, robust car. It's there's no power steering. There's a lot of torque down low, so the engine is very powerful at low RPM. It's one of those cars that you really need to like grab by the scruff of the neck and just manhandle it around. Whereas in Europe, the cars are a bit more suited for, you know, they got power steering and it's just a little bit easier.
A little bit more spoiled in those.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the guys that haven't raced an IndyCar, they wouldn't know a tricky car if it hit them in the face. So.
A lot of people don't realize how little time drivers really have to practice on a track. What do you do to practice for a race like today here at Long Beach?
Yeah,
Any other preparation?
It's certainly tricky, but that makes you know, your off-season preparation important, just to understand the rhythm of the circuit, all the techniques that are involved, and then the great thing about like this place and our cars, they barely change year to year. So where you left off last year, you essentially start this year. So experience is really important. Obviously, I'm younger than a lot of the guys here, so that's a bit of a disadvantage sometimes. Like, there's some guys who have been doing this for like 20 years, and clearly it's tricky initially, but by the time you get into a rhythm, that's when you can show your talent.
So a lot of times when you have a bad race or a bad day, I mean, that can get you down sometimes. You know, I lose a client or I lose an offer when I make an offer. What helps you, or what do you do to reset, to get out of that and back into the right mindset for the next race?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one when you're so emotionally invested in your results and performance. Typically, I like to remind myself that, you know, it's actually good to go into a race day being content with the worst possible scenario, you know, because it gives you a bit more freedom to, in your own mind, to take risk. Because ultimately, you're just gonna suck if you don't take any risk in this sport. So you need to be able to, you need to be content with the possibility of just making the world's biggest mistake, and that's okay, because there's gonna be another race.
In my own business, sometimes to drive me a little bit more, I take and I look at somebody who's doing a little bit more business than me, or a little bit more successful, and at least internally try to get to that level, and it usually does good. Do you have anything similar to that you do to improve your driving ability?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what defines success, really? I mean, how is someone more successful than you? I don't know. However, in motorsport, I suppose our speed is measured by a stopwatch, so it's very, very easy to define. The great thing about our sport is we have so much data. You can understand exactly what you're doing, exactly what the car is doing, which is exactly the way I like it. There's no fairy dust, it's numbers, black and white. So I'm always looking at data, always looking at what we can do to improve and not making the same mistake twice.
Yeah, because we're none of us are individuals. A lot of us, we have teams, people backing us up, helping us succeed, helping us win.
Right.
What builds trust for you?
We communicate a lot. Me and my engineers. I'm probably annoying to work with because I like to do a lot of meetings through the week. We have an engineering meeting, strategy meeting on the Monday and Tuesday. We talk about it more and more and more and more. And what's today? Friday. Yeah. On a Friday, we've talked about it so much it's almost annoying for them, at least. But as well, I'm surrounded by very talented people, so you kind of need to trust them in the sense that they have their own instincts and their intuition. So you got to kind of trust that they're going to do the right thing, and they want success as much as you do. So we all trust each other, essentially. As soon as someone starts to blame, that's just a recipe for disaster. So we're all one team.